I famously have said many times, Larsa didn't need the Kardashians needed Larsa. Now we're
That's
cooking,
it.
Nate.
Take. That's it. Hot take.
I'm having fun. That's the beauty of the show, is everybody is going to have a different opinion. With that being said, the time has come. Oh gosh, Nate, I don't know. We got to do it though. We got to do it. We are talking about flowers and feedback for the Real Housewives of Miami. We are giving them their flowers and we are giving them feedback because we are going to try not to be shady whatsoever. So feedback, constructive criticism is always good. More of my stuff can be found at hashtag randomly with Ronnie Jr. And Nate, you can find him on the Instagram account, RHOM.bravo, celebrating this wonderful cast. So while we're giving flowers and feedback, Nate, do you have any idea who the next cast member is? Do you have any idea?
I think I can make an educated guess that we might be going to Miss Pippin.
Larsa, clap, 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 clap. I love Larsa so much. And I know everyone else does too. Okay. Gosh, I really got to like ramp it up, So once again,
Why don't you tell me the flowers and feedback first, so maybe I can
okay.
get some. Yeah.
Okay. So again, it's all based on who we are. So here are her flowers. Much like I said with Lisa, it is so easy to see somebody who you could say, lived a different scenario as she not only did she marry Scottie Pippen, but they had 4 beautiful kids together, and like she really did play the mother role very well, I would like to say. And I just think it's so easy to make her in your mind so superficial. And I know that there are elements of her that do feel like self-involved because she does have a lot of confidence, but I also feel, this is just my opinion, I feel, and this may be based on my confidence, I feel like I'd have a ball with Larsa Pippen. I feel like if anything, she just keeps it so funky. You know what I mean? She's so authentic, actually, and no one wants to believe it, Nate. They don't want to let her ever have a moment where they can't equate like, oh, you're superficial because Kardashians. And for the record, I didn't really enjoy watching the Kardashians, but I love Larsa. I famously have said many times, Larsa didn't need the Kardashians needed Larsa. Now we're
That's
cooking,
it.
Nate.
Take. That's it. Hot take.
I'm having fun. No, but really for me, that's what it is. When we start whatever journey we have, there are moments where you're just so insecure and you're so like, what am I supposed, what is my mission? What is my purpose or whatever? And so I'm just going to tell you how I see her and why I like her. I know that there's been many times, like I said, I worked in radio it's been about 20 years now in that industry, different jobs, of course, production and stuff like that, podcasting. I remember a time, Nate, while I was younger in my early 20s, where I was so bashful about everything, couldn't get the confidence. And I feel it's really special when you could break through that and you could be like, you know what? I'm a good person, but it's okay to say I'm amazing, right? There's nothing wrong with that. You're not putting anyone else down. And I think a little bit like Larsa is kind of misunderstood in that way. If you really go back and watch the episode, she really doesn't shade nobody for the most part. She really does love herself. I'm not going to say she doesn't, but she doesn't waste a lot of time worrying about anyone else. She just happens to really like herself. And for what it is, I'm a bit inspired by that. And sometimes when I think about these cast members, I relate it to how much fun I would have with them. If I could go have dinner or even do an interview, obviously, like I said, I worked in radio for a lot of years. I think being around a lot of people, as I've worked in the business for so long, you kind of could see the persona and you could kind of get a sense of who seems really cool to you and who would be like a fun interview or who would maybe even be a somewhat of an industry friend. It's what I feel. It's what I feel. Larsa gives me that. She gives me like cool vibes. She'd probably like randomly Ronnie Jr. and it would be fun. That's what I think. I don't think she would be shady to me whatsoever. What is your thoughts on that? Because that was a mouthful. And then I'm gonna give you her feedback because her feedback is actually something I got to deal with myself.
All right. Well, I honestly agree. Trying to find that confidence and trying to, be able to say that, like, yes, I am good at this. So I'm amazing at this, even, or I'm, just proud in everything that you do. And I think I tend to maybe be a little too self-deprecating. So
Mhm.
definitely, I will give her flowers for her confidence. I actually
Okay.
really do admire that, her confidence. I think that that's something that I need to take in a little bit, be able to say, "Yes, I do this, and I'm amazing at it, and, I don't care if that however that makes you feel, I am good at this." So, I admire her for that. So I agree with you.
Okay, so feedback is actually it's funny. I said a lot of it as it related to me. Um, which even talking about myself in this way, I could see how somebody would say, "Of course he likes her. All she does is talk about herself, and all he does is talk about himself too." Well, if I'm not gonna be my own fan, who the F is gonna be? But
That's
I will
good.
say on the flip side of that, okay, the feedback is actually a problem I have too. Her feedback, which there isn't much because Larsa is the queen. Her feedback is that when she goes through a situation with somebody, she's overly explanatory. I learned this recently, even with talking to one of my siblings, because their whole thing was like, oh, if we have a disagreement or whatever the case, it could just be that. And the sorries could be like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And they're just like, that's it. But me, Nate, you will find I'm always like, but wait a minute, but this and that. And I think that a lot of people instantly look at that as like, oh, you can't say sorry, but. And while that is true, if you're saying sorry, but to make an excuse, I really feel like in my heart of hearts, Larsa, and I do the same effing thing. This is terrible. I don't say I'm sorry, Nate, but with the intention of being like not taking ownership of what I did wrong. I say I'm sorry, but what happened is this, which was based on this and how I thought of this, and when you stated that, that threw me off here, and then boom, it's over explaining, and that washes away the apology sometimes. Now, let me tell you, I don't do it as bad as Miss Pippin or maybe Jordan at some point. I don't do it like her. But when I saw that on the TV, how she couldn't just like own the things, and I remember looking at it and I would watch because, we love watching all the other content creators and YouTube and podcasters and everything like that. Most of them would read her to filth. And I was like, but she wasn't really trying to like not have an apology or, that moment. She was trying to own it, but she also wanted to explain how she derived at that opinion. And
Right.
Nate, I had to check myself because I do the same thing. I'm like, keep on talking. And it's like, just say sorry, dude. That's all people want to hear, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
So flowers and feedback, Larsa Pippen. You somewhat talked about giving her flowers. If you wanted to add to that, and or if you just want to give a little bit of feedback, which I'm sure you got a lot of opinions, even based on what you hear.
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, for flowers, I really admire her confidence. I think that that's something that's very admirable. And feedback, I would say that I think how do I articulate this? She goes um, to the jugular, I think maybe a little too quickly. And I feel like it is entertaining, but I feel like there should maybe be, and maybe there is that. I mean, like, we watch an edited show, so we don't really know maybe what got her to a point or what, like,
Mm,
happened. We just know what we're being shown. But from what I see, it seems that it just goes from 0 to 100 like that, and there's
mm,
just, like, nothing, and then all of a sudden, you rent out your house, and all of a sudden, you hook up with every doctor in the hospital, and I feel like there should maybe be
oh my
some
gosh.
steps to take. But you know what? Once again, very entertaining. I love the confidence. That's just my feedback.
Um, my last thing to add to Larsa, because of course I love her so much. She's like if you watch Jersey Housewives, I love a Melissa Gorga. If you watch Potomac, I love a Giselle Bryant. I'm trying to think of the other franchises. Luann is amazing. Jessel from New York. I just got my favorites, and for what it is, Larsa isn't like my only favorite. I think Miami's got a really well-rounded cast, but I really like her. It's time for some feedback to the fan base. Nate, why is everybody actually, it's not really feedback, but you can answer the question. Why is everybody so in her business about her physicality? Like, why, even if she did, evolve, what's the problem with that? Like, I honestly don't know. Is it because they ask her and she's like, oh yeah, it's just squats? Is that what it is? Is that really what it is?
I think that um, the people in my comments, which are many who have this opinion, I think I can't speak for them for sure, but what I think is that they probably don't like her based on other qualities
Mm.
or something else. And I think that her uh, metamorphosis into 2023 Larsa, I think
Yes.
is like an easy target for people who already
Okay.
don't like her to go to. So I think that if she was, the number one fan favorite housewife of all time, I feel like they wouldn't have a problem with it. But since she's a little controversial, I think those who don't like her see that as an easy target to go to and make they don't forget to comment on it every time, every post. So,
It's a little ridiculous. It is, but you make a point. If you don't like a cast member, you don't like their actions, and they're saying something to your favorite cast member, yes, the easiest thing is like, oh, you don't even look like what you used to look like in season one. And by the way, I do think she does look the same. It's just people do change. I mean, let me tell you right
yeah.
now, Nate, the money could always grow, right? And my career could always enhance. And the beauty that I am today, drink it in. Yes. When things go good, there will be a chin implant. Yes. The waistline will be like this. Yes, it will. I just feel like what I'm saying is that can't dictate why you think somebody is phony. That is just how they rock. You know what I mean? That is just how they create their own version of self-love. You know what I mean? Like it's just the same
Yeah.
way I think I wouldn't knock anyone who if they, let's say, had other priorities and let their body go. I've struggled with weight. It's like I like wherever anyone wants to go, it's more how they treat people. And to me, and this is maybe where I won't say wrong, but where people disagree with me is that I don't think she in 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 all actuality, in real life, I don't think she treats people bad. I don't. I think she's actually cool. In the words of Larsa, I feel like you notice she always says that. I
Yeah.
feel like I feel like I feel like I'm like a fun girl. And honestly, you could laugh at that because that is kind of funny. Oh, Larsa. I feel like she is a fun girl. I feel like she is. I feel like she is. And even if that's because you did, rock out with a world-class athlete, the biggest family in, I guess, pop culture, they also wanted to befriend you for all those years. And obviously it's not where it used to be. But also she's a fun girl. So why wouldn't people want to be around her? There's I can't. I can't do it anymore. Larsa is my one of my favorites, and I feel like I'm going on, and I'm trying to make a case for her because I don't like when people don't like her. But you know what? It's a great show. Real Housewives of Miami has something for everybody. Okay, Nate, back to you on this next one. So, flowers and feedback is the name of the segment where we're going to give flowers and a little bit of feedback to the cast members. The next one, I can't wait to hear what you have to say about good old Adriana. Season 1, 2, and 3, all those years away, and then she became a part-timer. Oh, that is shocking.